Brought to you by Custom Contact and live from the Bugatti showroom. This is Internet Sales Process Part A. Enjoy. Hello, Dennis Colome here, contacting you live from the Bugatti showroom. I want to share some things with you guys about internet sales processes, the things we're doing for dealership when we do performance coaching in a store. When we look at a dealership, we look at 5 principal areas that are either successful or the lack thereof. And the first one really is about a process. What do you do to get the customers like you, trust you, and leave them wanting more? We had to create a process understanding the psychology and the thinking of the customer. A couple things we know. Almost every one of your internet leads, regardless of where they come from, they have champagne taste and a beer budget. They have a tendency to want to pick a car that's more expensive than they can afford. It's human nature. It's what they do. The second thing you have to understand is that most consumers are going to shop you either from brand to brand, Chevy to Ford, or they're going to shop you from Chevy to Chevy. They're going to look at 2 different dealers and compare. Understanding that psychology has created a quagmire for people in the auto industry, because if you give them a price, you're dead, because they're going to go somewhere else and try to shop it. If you don't give them a price, you're also dead, because the customer's just found a place that they can't trust or they're not going to do business with. So when we created the psychology behind the process, we developed a concept that answered their questions, built their trust, exceeded their expectations, made you look better than your competitors, but most importantly, we left them wanting more, which bridges the gap to get them either responding to you, answering your emails, or giving you a legitimate phone call so you can go ahead and work with that. So the process is important, and we had to build something that worked for everybody. It also lends itself to higher gross profits in your store. The second thing we focus on is first impressions. You never have a second chance for good first impression. It is important for you to respond to customers in about an 11-minute average during working hours. Now, I know you might think that's impossible. It's not. It can be done. We have continuous improvement tools and ways to be able to make it better and better and better. By the way, today the average dealership responds to leads at an average of 5.5 hours. So I know you're doing better than that, but we can continue to improve upon that. The best closing ratios are going to come when our response times are down to 10 or 11 minutes average. The third thing is a fundamental process that challenges all dealerships, and that's getting the customer on the phone. It takes 9.1 attempts to get a customer on the phone. Caller ID, voicemail, call screening, the busy lifestyles that people lead today. So we as dealerships cannot give up before we've made at least 9 attempts in the first 3 weeks. More is better, by the way. In addition to that, the second part of getting that appointment really focuses on what time of day are we making our phone call. Guys in the dealership, of course, they're not that busy in the Bugatti store, but here in the dealership, we really make most of our phone calls when it's convenient to us after the sales meeting at 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's when customers are calling their customers and they're busy. Your high success and probability of catching someone on the phone is exactly when that customer is in your showroom floor. When your showroom floor is the busiest time is when you have the greatest yield of success on making your outbound phone calls. This creates a challenge because you're with customers and doing deliveries, therefore you're not making the high probability or high successful phone calls. So we have ways to work that situation through your dealership and create the more successful phone calls that are made. The third part, guys, is what do you say when you get on the phone? Most dealerships have their salespeople call in and say, when would you like to come in for a test drive? And guys, that's like sending somebody to a singles bar with a one-liner and they're not so pretty. It's like one bullet in your gun, and we all know the customer